Wake up, Pancreas. I'm Danny.
And I'm Alex.
And welcome to episode
This is number 12 now.
12.
Number 12.
12 already?
Yes.
Man, we're flying through these, aren't we?
We're trying to. We're dragging our butts through it. That's what we're doing.
Maybe the last couple episodes, but life got ahead of us. We have full-time jobs. I mean, our kids are full-time doing everything. It's a busy time of year.
Yes, it is. Definitely is. Alex is doing everything. We just celebrate his pre-birthday party kind of deal, right?
Yeah, So it kind of sucks being a summer baby. And we said that when he was born, like, oh man, like, how's he ever going to get to celebrate his parties?
Yeah.
So we try to plan them, like, either right before school gets out so that kids come, or we haven't done it after school, but it might be worth trying because there's so much going on this time of year. I think all families are struggling trying to make events.
We haven't even tried Marcel's birthday party. We got to figure it out because she's right after Thanksgiving. So it's like, what's going on there? I don't think it's just going to be us.
I have a feeling hers is probably going to have to be right before Thanksgiving or probably the weekend after Thanksgiving because at that point people are like, oh, I don't have to worry about cooking. Christmas is in like a few weeks, and then we'll probably be able to do hers, but we'll have to play that one by ear too.
Yeah, we will. Well, she's doing pretty good in swimming, right? She's Olympic team about
now. Oh, absolutely. Like the next whatever the female version of Michael Phelps is without the weed.
That'd be like Ducky.
She's killing it. Like, and I realize that I'm all like, oh my goodness, she's amazing. She tied her shoes. But no, she really is. I watched her today and I saw parents look at me. And I had this like huge smile. I'm like, sorry, trying to keep it together.
Yeah, my kid's better than you. That's what I'm trying to say.
So better. Like these kids, I'm like, they can't even keep their legs straight when they kick.
There's a kid just floating in the pool with his face down. What did he do? And he's swimming? No, he just floated.
So I don't know how far it is. It looks like it might be like 15 feet that they make them swim, but it goes out to like 30 and in like several strokes. So she's learning how to do the strokes the proper way now, side breathing. And that's what she worked on this whole time. Okay. Within several strokes, she's almost at the 30-foot part. And the teacher's like, okay, Marcel, you got to turn around. Like, turn around. And she's like, okay. And then she'll forget the kick and she'll look at me and I'll be like, kick. So she kicks and then she's done.
Is there any help from the instructor itself? Does the instructor like push her halfway through the pool or no?
Not at all, which is why like when she turns around and she can't actually kick off the wall or touch anything, I think she struggles to get going again because she's like, oh gosh, like I'm like straight up and down perpendicular. I got to get myself going. So it takes her a bit, but then when she gets it, I mean, she's doing awesome.
That's not bad. And this is with their new, the 5, right? Dexcom 5?
The Omnipod 5,
Omnitron, yes. Omnitron 5.
It still doesn't work when she's in the pool, so it's not like it's making a difference.
Well, we lose connection. That's the thing, right? In the pool, we lose a little bit of connection, but still, it's working, right? We've seen an improvement.
We've seen an improvement. I mean, I feel like she's had a good amount of low today, but she has lows on swimming days and soccer days because she's just so active.
But overall, I think we're seeing a trend line in the 150s, right? For the last week or so. We were talking about the A1C and what's that? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what A1C stands for.
That's okay. I'm a nurse. I can't tell you what it stands for, but I'll tell you what it is. Okay. No, so with her Dexcom, we're able to look at her trends all the way out like 90 days, which is an A1C looks at your average sugar over a 90-day period.
Okay.
And I won't get into like all the sciencey stuff about it. I'll keep it super keep it simple, right?
Yep.
Essentially, it just looks at your average glucose and how saturated your blood is. And man, I should have looked this up before we started with the normal is versus not normal. But our goal for her is to stay below 7.5, and that's high for a diabetic, but it's because of her age and it's because she needs the extra sugar for her brain and her growth. But eventually, most diabetics, the goal is to be below 7.
Correct.
Because I think normal like pre-diabetes is below 6.5. Once you hit that 6.5, you're a diabetic. So the goal is lower the better.
And we haven't even started thinking about the hormone changes in the sense of as she becomes a teenager and she gets pumped full of estrogen and so on, and she grows spurts and so on, and that's going to be all over the place, right? And truthfully, I think it's not till you're almost an adult where you have a comprehension as the diabetic, as Marcel is diabetic, that what can she handle, what can she eat, what can she do, right?
I think at that point she's going to have to, like the people I've talked to, they base a lot of their diet on how they feel.
Yeah.
So some won't eat carbs, and that's simply because they just don't feel good eating carbs. So like, they feel like crap. I'm not going to eat something that gives me a stomach ache. I'm going to eat something that makes me feel run down, and that's kind of what drives them.
Yeah, I bet it does. What would you say? Well, right now, I can tell you that we don't limit her. She eats whatever she wants because obviously we talked about her rebellious teen. She's going to be a teenager eventually, and we don't want her going like, you never let me eat cake. You never let me drink a soda. You know, now I'm going to pound all the soda I want. Right? So what do you think is her favorite food right now?
Hot dogs from Costco. She loves Costco hot dogs, and they are the grossest thing to me. I do not like all beef hot dogs. I'd rather have like a chicken dog or like a turkey dog. And she's like, can we go to Costco? Can we get a hot dog? I want a hot dog. Like, she
Give me
loves
a hot
them.
dog and a churro.
And a churro, of course. But I mean, we're not that strict, but yet we treat her like we do Alex. I would, in my mind, I'm like, we don't eat healthy enough. However, I know comparing ourselves to other individuals, or like when people come to visit us, like, you eat so healthy, you don't have snacks in your house. And I'm like, really? Because I let my kids have stuff.
That's turkey bacon, you heathen. I remember that.
So, I mean, I don't think our kids feel like they're missing out, especially like over the summer going to all these parties. Like they constantly have snacks. So I think they're okay. But what we've noticed with her Dexcom, because we can see those trends, we can narrow it down all the way from the past 2 days, past 7 days. I think it's 14, 30, 90. And we've had the Omnipod 5 now for about a week. And the past 2 days, her trend is about 150 is where her glucose is, her average glucose.
Yeah, and that's stable. That's close to the 100.
Which equates to a A1C of 7.
Yes.
And we have never been that low. We've only, I mean, the lowest we've been, I don't even know if we got the 7.4. We got the 7.5, and the doctor's still been happy with it. Yeah. So, and over the past 2 weeks, her average is like 149. So we're trending almost to the point that we could say almost 6.9. But her Dexcom's always slightly off. Like when the Dexcom's like, she's going to be a 7.4. I'm like, yes. And then they go and they draw her blood. She's like, she's 7.6. It's always off by like point something. And the Dexcom always says it's lower than it is. So maybe not get our hopes up this time. But, and they always look at me and they're like, you seem disappointed. That's so good. I'm like, is it? Like Facebook groups have their kids at 5 points something.
Yeah, but at the same time, those poor kids are eating nothing but veggies, and they haven't touched the candy in 30 days.
Yeah, and I think that's it. Is that I see all these parents freaking out about it, and maybe we're too lackadaisical, but at the same time, I'm like, this is life. I can't be stressed out every day of my life, and she shouldn't be either. No,
she shouldn't be, but because the complications, if you think about it, it's once again, she's a child, she's growing, hormones are pumping in, she's getting taller, she's getting bigger, right? So obviously it's going to throw her off. As she has a growth spurt and she gets bigger, it's going to be off. We're going to have to treat her differently, right?
And I think we're going to have to play it by ear. Yeah. I mean, right now she's just all over the place. Some days she's low, some days she's high, but I honestly could say I haven't noticed the Omnipod changing her blood sugar too much, but it is. But I will say she's not waking up high, and a lot of times she would. She's waking up at the perfect like 125 for us. Now, yes, 100 is like, oh my gosh, right? But we're very happy at 125 in the morning. So I mean, it's doing something. I don't know what it's doing.
It definitely is working as witchcraft, but at the same time, sometimes I wonder, is it doing something, or are we the ones putting in the numbers and we're making the changes unconsciously, believing this machine is working, right?
But she's still having lows, and it's supposed to prevent lows.
Is it supposed to?
It's supposed to see where her trend is and anticipate where it's going to be in 60 minutes, so it'll turn off her insulin. Yeah. But I mean, she's having lows because she didn't eat her dinner tonight, and she's like, "I'm going to eat half," and then she gets up and she leaves, and we're like, "You need to go eat," and she just doesn't eat. Yeah. So I mean, I think we're over treating for the carbs, and the machine can only do so much. It's like, It's not my fault she's not eating, guys. Come on.
Oh, man. What do you think about, what's the other one, right? There's a Dexcom, right?
The Dexcom Omnipod is the one that reads her sugar.
Correct. What about that one? What do you think about transition to the next one?
Well, the Omnipod's not there yet, so it only talks to the G6. So until it buys into the G7 technology, then we're stuck with the G6. But my thought is, I believe, don't quote me on this, Tandem's another brand of pump that a lot of people use. And they were like one of the first for this artificial pancreas technology.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that, right?
But it has a tube, like it has a wire, and that's what a lot of people are used to seeing for a pump. And they still are using the G6.
Okay.
They haven't integrated the G7. So at some point, the two companies are going to have to talk, because Dexcom's not going to be making money off type 1 diabetics if all the pumps are still using the G6. Mm-hmm. Now, they'll make money off type 2 diabetics because they don't have to have insulin pumps. Yeah. But really, the ones they're probably making the most money off of are the type 1s.
Correct.
So at some point, the companies are going to have to integrate at least their thought process and how they do that. But I did read on a blog, and can't say it's super scientific, Google, when is this going to come out? And they're saying probably by the end of this year that it'll start talking to the G7. I say this time next year it'll start.
You know? But then again, I trust everything the internet says, so I'm 100%.
Of course, it's always right, and especially Wikipedia, 100%.
So you ready for summer? We have a lot going on summer, right?
We have so much going on. I'm just trying to take it one step at a time because I'm drowning in it.
You are? I can tell you that I have zero worries. Like, absolutely nothing bothering me at this moment. Like, you tell me all the time, you got so many papers to sign, and so I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it.
I'm literally walking around work with a stress ball in my hand, and I've had people say, ma'am, is that a stress ball? I'm like, it is, and it changes colors when you squeeze it, and it gets warm.
So what's the worst color to get?
It only goes from purple to pink. So pink means it's warm, which means my hand touched it at all, and I'm just walking.
So it's just red with his tongue out, just dying.
Yes, it's like, she's squeezing too hard. Oh my God. Well, no, it's a busy time of year. I mean, Marcel has a dance recital coming up, and thank you, my amazing husband, who said Danny is going to be the dance mom for the team. She will volunteer. I'm telling her she's going to volunteer. So tomorrow night after work, I have a mandatory meeting to learn how to take care of these dancers during rehearsal, and then how to put their makeup on, all this different stuff.
I can tell you, so straight off the back, if I was doing it, right, and I don't see anything wrong. I'll be like, how do you put your makeup on automatically? I'll be like, you didn't come with makeup? That's not my fault. Just go.
That's kind of my thought. Like, what if they smear? And it even said, if you're dealing with the little ones, we are with like the youngest group. It says, maybe take them out, read them a book, entertain them so they're not interrupting the show. I'm like, what the heck did he sign me up for? So I'm stressing about that because I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to print out all the directions. What if I don't sit right? What if I don't take them behind the stage right?
10 pages of directions. But at the same time, we went to a rehearsal and we saw the little kids sitting down, remember?
They did a really good job. And all
they did is sat there, they kept quiet, they just looked around.
There were a few that were crying, and I don't do tears very well. So I'm going to be like, where's this person's parents? We're not doing this.
Oh, poor kid.
But no, we have that, and then, which is really exciting, but it's kind of going to take over our next couple weeks. Mm-hmm. And then we have soccer camp coming up this summer. Yeah, kids are going to swim twice a week. Yeah. We got jiu-jitsu twice a week. Yeah. Alex's first competition.
Yeah, he has a tournament coming up. I don't think he realized what's going to happen in the tournament, but he thinks it's a game.
I don't think I know what's going to happen in the tournament. I just don't anticipate it's going to go well. It'll be a learning experience for him.
He's going to learn a lot that day.
Poor kid. We're going to have to take him for ice cream afterwards just to not rub salt on that wound.
So to me, it doesn't even matter if he wins. I just want him to show up. If he loses, I'm going to be cheering. If he wins, I'm going to be cheering, right? I'm going to make a big spectacle of it. I just want him to learn. That's it.
I think he'll do great.
I think he'll do great too. Plus, he got hit in the head. His giant head bounced off the ground, and he was fine, right?
A lot of tears, but then he walked. When people were like, "Oh, Alex, are you okay?" He got up and he's like, "I'm not broken. I could do this." Yeah. He repeated my words. "You're not broken. Get up."
As he crawls himself back to look, "I'm okay,
Mommy." No, he's going to do great. Yeah. So it's going to be a busy summer, and we hope you guys follow along with us and hear our crazy adventures. Alex and I have kind of been talking about where we're going with Wake Up Pancreas, and we're probably going to start incorporating a lot more just family stuff and parenting stuff. And I mean, it happens to be with a type 1 diabetic child, but there's only so much stuff about the pump we can talk about, and our life is adventurous. It's fun. Exactly. It's funny.
Half the time we're outside, we go for runs with the kids. Marcel's literally on her bike, right? She has her Dexcom and her phone and everything strapped to her chest with a helmet on, and she just goes. We just go. We don't let her stop us.
Exactly. So we hope you follow along on some of these adventures with us over the next couple months.
All right.
All right. Have a good one.
Wake up, Pancreas.